Okay, good day, guys. Good day to you all. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. You guys have always been showing the channel a tremendous amount of support, and as always, we do appreciate it. Today we have a special guest here with us, right? A gentleman who many of you would be familiar with, the face of the Jamaica Football Federation, as many people refer to him as. Well, you're the face because you're the only person we see from the Jamaica Football Federation. So
Yes.
it sounds like you don't want to be the face.
I don't know if I'm the face, but do you think? I mean, what we do is important, so we always comment on it. So that's fine.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. For starters, I want to, thank Mr. Speed for jumping on the show. I'm sure many Reggae Boys fans would really appreciate hearing from Mr. Speed. Here. Oh God. Oh God. Anyway, we just see a comment a while ago. My name not gonna comment on it. Guys, more have said this before we jump in at the comment section. Seeing? Before we kickstart the show rather. Seeing? I think it is very important, that we remember that Mr. Speed is the only person from the Jamaica Football Federation that is willing to talk to us and to talk to you guys and to give you guys real insight into what is taking place. Seeing, I think that many people sometimes we don't agree with everything Mr. Speed says and does. And I think we as Jamaicans, our first inclination or our impulse response is to respond with aggression and disrespect, right? And arrogance. And we have to remember again that Mr. Speed is the only one from the JFF that is willing to come and speak to us. Seeing so we need to be sensible in how we deal with him, and we need to be strategic in how we deal with him. Seeing we really and truly don't want to disrespect the man and allow him not to want to return to these platforms to speak to you guys. So I think that maybe just really want to say that because I think it is very short-sighted the way we deal with Mr. Speed sometimes. And may I tell you, I don't think Mr. Speed was very excited about doing this particular interview because I think he is a little bit frustrated sometimes with the response that he gets. So we just did want to say that to you guys. Remember, me I tell you, nobody else on the JFF now want to deal with you. Me can tell you that nobody else from the JFF does not want to give us interviews. So we have to bear that in mind and we have to be respectful to our guests as well. See? So with that being said, again, Mr. Speed, good day.
Hi, good day. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Much appreciated. For starters, I want to ask you this. I want to ask you this for starters, and it's really Cavaliers, right? Um, no man, I know nothing bad, man. That's something positive,
No, no,
man.
no. I'm not afraid of any question. So just ask.
It's not anything bad, Mr. Speed.
And
Not
when I
anything
bad,
bad.
I'm still good. What you say? Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I just ask you about some of your players, Mr. Speed. I remember one time, like for instance, Busy Campbell was supposed to go away, and you gave us the explanation why that never happened. I know King has been linked with moves away. I just want to. All right, let's start with King. Anything overseas for King?
Well, remember with King, there was an offer on the table for him to go to the MLS, but he didn't want to go to the MLS. And his advice, which is independent advice from mine, was for him to try and get into Europe. So he has secured himself an agent in Europe, and they're working towards getting him over there in the summer. So that is what, but he has secured himself with a really top group, elite, 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 elite. I think elite sports agency.
Sportsman, yeah, something to that
Yeah,
effect. Hmm.
right. Who has in their ranks like Sacco from Arsenal, Sancho, um, the guy used to play for Arsenal, the other guy. Netesh or something like that. The other striker at Arsenal, that young, yeah, he has those. They have a lot of young players. They have, so it's really a good agency he has signed for, and so he's in their hands now, basically.
You know, I don't think our players really recognize the importance of having a good agency, and I think it's one of the most overlooked aspects of Jamaica's football in terms of the importance of it. I'll give you an example of how powerful an agent can be. I never ever thought I'd ever see a player move from high school in Jamaica to a Swedish first division team in Europe. Seen? And that was because of an agent. So I think it is, even from the JFF standpoint, I don't think the JFF's, I don't know, is it the JFF's responsibility to help to facilitate a culture of good agency, so to speak?
Yeah, in a way, yes. But there was a time when it was very onerous to become an agent in Jamaica and expensive because of, I think it was somewhere in the region of like about 30,000 US for you to be an agent. And that is why you see a lot of persons are not agents, but they are what you call intermediaries who work for agents. Because being an agent is expensive. Recently, though, FIFA has broke down a lot of barriers, so being an agent is much less onerous. There used to be an exam that you had to go to the JF and sit, or just go to any national association and sit to become an agent. You're right, a lot of people didn't know about it, and because it was so expensive, it wasn't done in Jamaica. But I agree with you 100% that one of the reasons why a lot of players don't progress, even with very good talent, is because they refuse. Because
Yeah.
you have some people telling them not to sign for anybody and not to sign anything, and they refuse to sign for an agent. So they could be here playing very well, but nobody's looking out for their career by showing the clips to overseas people. Or we had a problem getting videos on what players can do too. Plus, then there's also the expense to carry them overseas, which could be high some of the times. So our players really lose out because they don't have an agent. Some of the agent leaves a lot to be desired at the same time, but it's better for you to have an agent than not to have an agent. I guess.
Yeah, and I don't, I think I don't, is it preached enough to JPL players the importance of having an agent? Because the vibe and the energy that me get personally is that they don't really seem to be big. A lot of the players don't really seem to be big, or don't really seem to understand. I think they're more focused on what they might lose from a financial standpoint in the short term versus what they can gain from a long term standpoint. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, very fair because it is unfair for you to be using the services of an agent, and then at the end of the month, I know the pay is small, but instead of giving the agent even a 5%, they don't want to give the agent the money, and because
Yeah.
of that, why am I getting a feedback?
Oh, mama mute. Yeah, man, got you. I think it's my end. I need to start. There's something wrong with my setup. I need to sort it out because I have had complaints.
Right. So the agent has to eat. The agent that is incurring expenses working for the players in Jamaica. I think they are very reluctant to give the agent a 5% of their salaries. I mean, the salary is already small, so I kind of understand. But if you have talent and you think you can play overseas and you invest in yourself, I think you should always have an agent, no matter what.
Especially if you're young, especially if you're a young player.
Well, yes, but I mean, in the last, there's markets that they don't care about age. So whatever age you are. So if you look at Kamoy Simpson that moved from Cavalier, Chevron Marsh, and Tool from Arnett Garden, Tool was already 30 when he moved. So there are markets that the agent can carry you to, even if you have age. But once you have ability, there are markets that you can go into.
All right, cool. We're gonna ask you about a couple more players, First of all, you must be very, very, very proud of a certain particular ball over there in Europe. Because I mean, I don't have any links to the player. Me not know the player personally, but me proud to see where the youth are going with over there in Slovenia. And when I say Slovenia, say a Kaim Paris me attack. Slovenian Cup winner, make team of the season. How much? What? 10 goals and like how much assists? I mean, perform very well. You must be proud.
Well, Kaim Paris came to us at about age, I think probably age 15 or 14. I can't remember. I think maybe it's more like 15. But
Mm-hmm.
from the first day we saw him, we realized that he was special. He was so special that um, when we were trying to qualify for the Premier League the second time in 2017, I think 16, 17, we had a little dispute with another player, another influential player who was asking about money. His problem was money. And I turned to Kaim Paris and a player named Bala Vibes and said, listen, you are the person you have to come and play for the team now. He was about 16. Actually, Paris was the one who scored the goal that brought us back to Premier League. He was the star of the playoff. He was outstanding, and we had people like Alex Marshall, and him was the man who outshone everybody. And that's when we know that a star was born. But it didn't stop there. We took him to Sweden in a tournament called the Gotia Cup. And I was walking with Paris on the road, and everybody in Sweden was calling Paris, Paris. And I'm looking at him and saying, wait, what is this? Every single person in Gothenburg knew who Paris was based on his exploits on the field in that competition. And then I think Domzali did call him and have him there for a year. But with most Jamaican players going through his journey, he had a problem. They didn't believe he would defend as how he should and what is required of professional players. So they let him go. I'm sure they are crying now because he went down to Kirka, who was a second division team, and he got player of the year. He was the MVP for the tournament in that league. He scored about 20 goals. I can't remember.
Light it up. I watched some of the games. Like
Right.
it was almost too easy for him, to be honest.
Yeah. And then he went to FC Kappa next year and did all of that. So I expect him to move in the summer because, he's such a special talent. So, I think Kaim made the Jamaica national team as one of the youngest player ever, and he actually debuted at
Yeah.
17. So, he was always destined for good things, but it didn't just come like that. You have to nurture the talent, make them play early. So, yeah, we're very proud of him at this particular point in time.
And more of a talk a little bit about that, because you bring up something very important there, Seeing, given because I watched some of his, by the way, I'm very surprised that he went to Copper and did what he did. For starters, I didn't think he would have adjusted so well to the first division. His work ethic, you talk about his work ethic. His work ethic for Copper is very impressive in the games that I've watched. Very impressive. Seeing him doing defensive side of the bit. And I didn't expect him to do this well. One, the club barely survived relegation, and two, him just made the jump. But he has gone over there. He just made the jump to the first division, but he has gone over there. And I'm telling you, I've watched some of his performances, and he coming like sometimes him a Neymar up the team. Seeing like him flick a ball over one man head, him no need for turn back and flick it back over a man head, but him turn back and flick it over the man head. Seeing it sometimes it was just, especially in the earlier stage of the season. Probably, I don't know, the coach probably talked to him and say, you never need to flick it back over him. See, you done already pile him one time. Just continue to play. See? But what I want to ask you now is, one of the bigger, well, it's a very big and prestigious club in Europe that is heavily linked to it, right? And it's publicly known, so I can say it. Red Star Belgrade from out of Serbia, the most successful club in Serbia. I know there are a number of clubs that are linked to Paris, but what is you can't say the name of the club, fine, that I understand. But the league of the club that is leading the race for Kahim Paris, right? Could
Okay,
you give
so
us some indication?
I don't know who that is because remember that the agent is the one who does all of those negotiations. I only own 3.75% of Paris now, right? So the agent is the one.
still a nice little food when him get
I
resale for
just,
couple millions,
I hope so. I really hope so. Say it out, man.
Big food couple talking, man. They say nothing less than €1 million,
Yeah, I know. So that's 37,500.
Well, yeah,
So
yeah, but
I'm happy if them give me that. Plus, there's a training compensation. I will kind of hope it up. So, but I really don't know because it is the agent who's dealing with at this point, and the real owners of him is really Copper, not Cavalier.
couple.
So we don't have a part of that. We only have an interest at this time, so we don't really know. I'm just hoping that he goes. I wouldn't mind him go to Chelsea or something like that and get a big
You
transfer
think him ready for
fee.
them big league yet? He's not ready for them big league yet. Him can get there, Mr. Speed, but he's not ready just yet.
No. Let me tell you something about Paris. I don't know if you ever saw a goal that he scored against Waterhouse from a corner with his right foot. I mean, he's a
Yeah,
left
man,
footer.
we know the goal. Everybody
Right.
know the
Not even Paris know what he's going to do next, and that is what we saw in him from a long time. So I'm not going. His biggest problem was that he wouldn't do his fair share of the work. Once him start that out, he has the skills to play in any league. Because not even Paris know what he's gonna do next. All of those things that you see him doing, they are just compulsive. They just come to him when him on the ball. And remember, he played in the Premier League for us a couple seasons, scored probably about 5, 6 goals. As a teenager, he scored mostly 5 goals one year. So and he only played half a season. So I think he can play in the league. As I said before, I noticed the gradual change in him, not by speaking to him, but by the things that he posted. You can see the serious side start to come out in him as the years gone. He has gotten matured, etc. No man, he can go anywhere in life. I think he can. He has the time.
They extended his contract recently. Take him to 2025. You think that
So
was couple?
that's deliberate. That's how business is. So when they negotiating his fee, they can say no, but I have him for 4 more years, not one.
But is it in his best interest though? That's what I'm asking you. So how you feel about that? You happy
No,
about that?
no, they would have assured him, give him assurances that him going to leave anyway. But it's for them to drive up the price. But remember, you can't just look at what the person is getting because once they drive up the price, they drive up his fee, his salary too. Because people don't
True.
buy expensive ball and pay them cheap. So it works both ways. It's just how the business is, and you have to understand the business now. That extra months, extra years was just to make sure so they can sell him for a good price. So say his salary was even, say his salary was 5,000 now, and they give him a new contract, they probably push it to 10. So then when he move on now, the person not looking at 5 to offer him a new salary, they're going to look at the 10. So it's a win-win for both situations. And that is what a lot of players don't understand. They believe that they should run down the contract. You can do it if you are Messi. But when you're up and coming, you don't want to run on that contract. You want to keep your value up. So when you move on, the club get a value and you get a bigger share of the price. Remember, he also probably is entitled to a portion of the transfer fee, depending on what the contract he has. So some players write in that I must get 15%, as a, whatever it is. So if you have a good agent, you need to just trust the process and both of you will come out better. Unlike Jamaicans who like to run on their contract, it's really not a good thing when in those type of situations. Plus, clubs don't want you to have a reputation. No, players shouldn't get a reputation as being difficult to deal with during clubs because you have a shelf life of probably 10 years and they all speak to each other. So you could be doing the wrong thing in the long run.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, me personally, from the outside looking in, I think it's a little bit risky. But as I said, that's from the outside looking in, and I don't know the particulars of the respective deal. But to respond to your Chelsea talk though, I think the player has the potential to reach very far. I humbly would suggest that they take it at a step at a time rather than making this big, huge leap. That's what I would humbly suggest. That are me personally. All right.
That's fine. Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
you have to trust his agents, You just have to trust them because he has signed to them. They have done good for him so
Yeah,
far. You have
but
to just trust them.
Sir Speed, agents in the man. Agents not really a whole heap of agents now have the best reputation in a Sir Speed. Not saying that his agent doesn't.
Right.
Just saying generally speaking, agents are not the most trustworthy individuals you
True.
can
But they're
find.
all in it to make money. So the more, so let me tell you how the structure is. So the agent will have an agency fee that he'll charge the buying company depending on what agreement he can get. Then the agent will also get 5% of the player's salary every month. So that is why it is important for the agent to get as high a fee as he can for both the player and the club. So his earnings will be greater. So the way they are structured now, where FIFA actually tell you how much money you must take out of the player's salary, etc., it is in the best interest of the agent to get the highest fee possible. Unless him going go behind somebody back and collect something at the end. It's difficult to do that now because of how the structures are, financial fair play, that type of thing. So that's where we are.
All right, cool. So all right, let me ask about some more players now. See, because you have a lot of young players at your club, and I know you're arguably the biggest selling club in Jamaica right now, Probably not historically speaking, but right now. That's certainly a business model, and
Yeah.
that's a fair statement to me.
Yes, it is.
Okay, busy. Busy. Is there anything on the table right now for busy where a move is concerned? Do I have to
Yeah.
say the
No,
club just
no.
the
Yeah.
league?
Yes, there's one we have already for the summer, but it's a trial. Um, I think it's Serbia too. I can't remember. But the
First
problem,
year,
I think it's Serbia, but I can't remember.
first or second tier?
I don't remember. A
All right,
second,
cool.
second year,
Okay,
second year.
okay.
Um, but but um, with busy, we have that he didn't have a very good start to the season, and him stepping up now. Him score yesterday again. Him scored two over the weekend. Him scored. Him get golden boot in the Caribbean. So him kind of stepping up. So yeah, there are some certain things that we have to iron out with him, at training because we have somebody that actually look at the players, position and everything, independent of us, the coaches, and kind of analyze why the player not doing well. So we went through busy, and me and him have been having a conversation, him and Webster, and if you can notice, we start to score a lot more goals in our last four or so matches because them kind of adjust them games. So again, maybe him never even ready for go yet because he would play very well but not score. But at the end of the day, the whole idea is to score. You don't get
Very
value for
important for
the
forwards.
yeah, if you don't get
Target that.
value if you don't score goals. So we're working through that. So we are hope that by the end of the season, the improvements will be there and he'll be able to go overseas and carry that same form wherever he goes. But for him, we know we'll always have offers for him. It's just it's the right offer.
I forgot to ask about King. Any leagues in Europe? As I said, obviously you can't name the clubs, but if I'm
No.
not mistaken, I heard Belgium. Clubs from Belgium was interested.
We did have a huge offer on the table for King from MLS, but MLS is one of the top 10 league in the world, right? People don't
Hmm.
realize that. So as I said, we didn't take it because all his anglers advice is for him to go to play in Europe. Don't
Yeah, yeah.
right. So don't play in USA. So we expect him. I mean, he's still in the Jamaica squad. He'll be playing. So we expect that to even increase his value some more. So we're not even worried about him. We don't believe he'll be back for us after. We don't believe he'll be back. We just believe that
Sir
he'll get
Speed, yeah,
something.
yes, Sir Speed.
In,
Answer the
he'll
question.
get something in summer, but I don't
But
know where I'm going. I don't know. I really
is
don't.
there any European interest? That's what I want to know.
I
On the
don't.
table
You
right
know
now.
something? I'm meeting with his agent this evening. I'm going to ask them.
All right, cool. All right, and me that love for can hear a response to that. Whether me don't know how, but we can
Going to
show to
ask them the
the
same. But I'm not worried about him. Him is the least person I'm really worried about.
talented player, and
Yeah.
him seem to have a good head on him shoulders. Question on the screen quickly for you, Mr. Speed. Brian Mighton is asking Mr. Speed, how is Shaniel Thomas injury?
Well, he came back
Is
for
it
training last week and trained one day and he couldn't manage the second day. So the injury is still bad.
Mm.
It'll take a while. We'll get it
Yeah,
back to at least the playoff, but it'll take a while.
your left wing back, Campbell. How old is he again?
Well, him soon become 20. Maybe him at 20 this week. I can't remember, but him soon become 20.
Anything on the table for him in overseas as well?
No, but he was encouraged to find an agent, and I think he has found one. So I'm thinking, we should hear something soon. I hope he gets some playing time in the team. Unlikely, but if he does, it will be a good thing for him in the national team.
White, JD in White. Anything on the table for him?
No, not that I know of at this particular point. But then JD not in the national team anymore either, so him probably need to work hard and see if he can break back in there and let us see what's up.
Why the USL thing never work out for him?
Well, I mean, the team that he went to be honest, I mean, the other German goalkeeper was very experienced more than JD in there. I mean, so it was that, and they had another keeper, so it was always difficult for him to get into that team, I think. But I mean, he got the opportunity and get to train. But it was almost impossible for him to get into that particular team, in my mind.
All right, cool. Any more young players in the squad that any deals on the table for them? You can name the league or the
No, no,
country.
no, 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 no. We don't have no deals on the table, but we have a lot of young players. As a matter of fact, every player in our squad is a young player. The oldest player is
True,
Daxon,
true.
who is
Yeah.
24. He's 24. Everybody else is under that. So we all have, all of the players are young.
Yeah, you can see that is something that I am very interested in. Obviously, young players making
Well,
moves
the
is
two are the
something I
best,
preach about.
right? The two are the best young players that we have, with the Cleo Clark and Christopher Ainsworth. They are 16. None of them is yet 17. So they get minutes. So those will be our two best young players that we have at the moment. I mean, we have some other players working them way through because they just came this year. Yeah, Richard Henry. Yeah, Christopher Pearson is another young player that we have. He's still under 20, 19. So we're stuck with young players, young talented players. But as I said before, some of them not really ready to go abroad yet. We have to work with them for them.
Yeah. Even though they're featuring in the JPL, them not ready for overseas yet.
No, them not ready. I mean, look here. You still have people that come 1 minute late or come 1 minute early. Them not ready. When them go overseas, that would be a joke for those teams overseas. No, go so. Them come 15 minutes early, but them want the master rub down their legs. No, brother, you come 15 minutes early if you just go up on the field. So all of those things, we have to start out those things. Them eating habits, them breathing training, all of those things where professional people do breathing exercise. When you tell them to do it, it's like, what are you telling me that for? I can breathe. No, you can't. That's not how you recover back fast if you don't know how to breathe properly. There's a lot of little things that people believe is not important, but they are so important in the professional world.
And all of them add up.
All of them add up. So when you run for 10 seconds and is that humans are 10 seconds person, or you recover, breathing exercise help you to be quicker than a next man who don't. So so a lot of people don't know says the oxygen meet blood cell make you get back energy. A lot of people don't. So all these things you have to teach them. You have to teach them say, okay, you run fast this time for 7 seconds. So you can't do it again for same time. So you have to say, just knock the ball at time and now and wait again for run. You will run, but you just can't go as fast as your maximum pace. So there's a lot of things you have to teach your players and over. And some of them don't even believe you when you're trying to teach them, so it take a while.
Them not understand the importance. Them just think that something minuscule is not really important.
Yeah. So
I don't think a lot of people. I tell people all the time, Brentford has a sleep consultant coach. Big and serious. That's weird. That's how technical this thing is going right now. This football thing, every little thing adds up. Every little thing is important. Every little thing matters. By the way, before we continue, guys, knock up the like button. Knock up the like button. Free and easy ways to support the channel. Free and easy ways to give the youths them a strength. Seeing and you guys getting some good content as well. I'm not gonna bother up like Ryan and my style at seeing, but knock up the like button and if you haven't already, subscribe. Quickly before we move on to other issues. the Caribbean Club Championship. What went wrong there for Jamaican clubs? I mean, you can speak for yourself, obviously.
Right. So everything that could have gone wrong went wrong for us. So the first thing, I mean, we did a test the Friday the week before we left, or the Saturday. We come back the next Tuesday morning and do the COVID test, and we had everybody was clear, all 25%. When we reached over there the first night and did the test, 7% positive. So right now we lose 7 our party, 2 management personnel and 4 players. No, six that are six, sorry. 2 management and 4 players will lose, right? Anyway, and the funny thing was it was, you have different type of players. So the 4 players we lose was the goalkeeper, the starting goalkeeper, Doc Silly, Rochester, and Colin Anderson. Those are the 4 most physical, imposing players we have, and we just lose all of them one time. So we played the first game. We had to. That wasn't really what we wanted to start. Mismatch. We played the first game, and we lost it 3-2. But we made some horrible errors, like really stupid errors, and we lost the match 3-2. The second game now we're playing Cebu, which is the best team in the competition. Um they actually came second. In our zone was the zone of death. It was our 2 team that went to the final. Cebu was probably the best team. They lost on penalty, and we played them. But we lost before we played Cebu. We lost 2 more persons, 1 more player, and an ex-management. So it's just me. Just 2 of us management. We carried 25 was on the bench, and we had 15 players. But we had carried 5 youngsters for experience, right? Instead of carry some veterans, we carry 5 youngsters. And what happened is only one of the youngsters catch a COVID. So we were there now with 15 players, but 4 of them was really young players. So we played very well in the Cebu game. We were leading 3-1 after 67 minutes. We got a red card and everything go bad. And we just didn't have enough. We didn't have anybody to replace those players that had to come off. Then the 2 striker got injured. The captain got injured in the same match. So it was like, anything that could go wrong went wrong for us. But if we had just considered 1 less goal in any other games, we would have gone through this to the next round.
I was very shocked, when I watched the first game, boy. To say Cavaliers looked off, it would have been an understatement, man, because I even know Cavaliers as a team that put the ball on the ground and play through the respective thirds and break the lines. And it was a lot of direct play, and it was just a completely different Cavaliers from what I had seen him. So I was shocked because I expected different. So,
So if you watch the second game, though, it was probably the best game any team ever played. We put the ball on the ground, we knock it, we had Cebu 2 love. They got a goal and came back 2-1. We scored again and got 3-1, and until we fell to pieces again. But as I said, we just didn't have the right persons. And as I said, I am willing to take the blame. I'm the coach, so that's how it is.
Yeah. Jamaican teams really didn't have I know you can't speak for Waterhouse, but Jamaican teams really didn't have a good time of it over there in the dam rep. Quickly, somebody asking about Pearson's lack of intensity. How you plan to address that, Sir Speed? Do you agree with that statement?
One to Pearson, remember he had changed his mind from playing in a professional league. He had said he was going to take a scholarship. So if you notice, after he played the first 2 games for Cavalier, he didn't see him playing again for probably a month, because he must say, okay, well, I don't want to do the professional thing. I want to go to college. So he wasn't really in that training. So when he came back and said, okay, I'm going to continue playing, although he's still an amateur, but there's some NC whatever double rules or foolishness. So he never at him best, it's true. So I'm slowly kind of getting into stride. If you notice the game that he played now against more Lions, he was much more energetic running up and up. It's just a type of fitness he's trying to get there. He's also in the
Or
national.
probably much sharpness.
Yeah, he's also in the. He wasn't fit none at all. He's also in the national under 20 squad now, so you'll be finding him getting up to top speed. But he wasn't that in the Caribbean Cup. But as I said before, we never have no change in the Caribbean Cup. We can't do nothing else. We just have to play what we had.
something, but I want to move on to the Reggae Girls next, but I totally forgot to ask this question. Is it possible that to enable more players in the JPL to have access to an agent and to relieve some of the costs on the players who already have it difficult where salaries are concerned? Is it possible that clubs could start to hire agents or agencies to represent all the players on their rosters? Is that something that is possible?
No, because the player himself is the one who decides. So what is two side to a sale though, you know? You have the club is club to club. The agent really represent the player's interest in the negotiations for the player's salary remuneration side. That's what the agent does. But because sometimes the agent is the one who bring two clubs together too. But basically, if it was the purest form, the agent is supposed to represent the player. So what you find is like our club, we have some agents that will try to market our players without representing the player because then that arrangement is between the club and the agent. So we pay them a commission if they find a buyer. But it's just one part. Danger with that when it's not one agent doing both represent the player and the club is that the agent that represent the player might say player don't sign for that club where you negotiate. So it's really two different contracts, you know, one club to club and one player to club. And if everybody can agree, the sale can go through.
Understood, understood. Wesley Hall, we'll get to all of that, man. No worry on yourself, man. We'll get to all of that. All right, so Reggae Girls now, another topical issue. Boy, we used to have, well, I mean, I know, the Reggae Girls program was on the face of it running so smoothly, Mr. Speed, right? Smooth sailing into the upcoming World Cup qualifiers, and then, you know, just a huge explosion, and we all saw what took place. The JFF yesterday would have announced I don't want to say arrival or the hiring, so to speak, of Lauren Donaldson. And I know the technical committee had some part to play in that whole process. Not necessarily the hiring. But so you guys would have explained to me how that process worked with your technical committee and to
So
the viewers.
technical committee is just a recommending body. We are the advisors to the JFF on technical matters. We don't make any decisions. We just advise. So when the girls said they didn't want Mr. Blame to be the coach, what we did first was assess the claim because there was a letter, right, which everybody saw. One other thing I want people to realize is that we have other information that the media don't have. So the media might get the letter, but we have other information. We have email, we have other communications. So we can
Circumstantial evidence.
yeah, we are right. We can also request information from the coach or request information from what we would know what the president would have been speaking to other persons, what the solution was. So there's other things that the media will never know that happen, but we have access to those. So we would go through and assess, and of course we came up with yes, there was issues, but at the time we didn't see any need. There was some things that were not true, so we didn't see any need to fire Mr. Wynn. Right? He subsequently resigned because yes, it still would have been an untenable situation to him that his words. So he resigned. So that kind of threw us now into like a tailspin. I mean, people want to blame us for it, but guess what? It could happen to anybody. It's just life. What we wanted to do was make sure that we didn't just cherry pick somebody. So we went out and we looked, see if we can find a good candidate. We know the time was of essence, but sometimes yes make waste. So we
So
went
did
away.
you guys actually went out and approached people?
Yeah, we went out and look. I was the
That's
one who even
interesting.
called on the. I called on
Sorry.
there to ask him if he wanted the job. So we did. We
Mm,
looked.
that's a good thing to point out. I was under the impression that like typical, you know, put a ad in the gleaner, you know, well not literally that way, but in terms of putting it out there, putting the word out there that we want a coach.
We didn't
And
even.
I didn't realize you guys actually approach people.
Yeah, man. We went. So we went far and wide. I mean, there's a lot of organizations in the world that have these coaches database. There's a lot of organization that you can call people in certain countries and say, what you think, what are your recommendations? So yes, some people applied, but we ask people and they send recommendations. Um, um, so it's not a case where we just take what we have or who applied alone. So we went far and wide, and some I would just don't even bother interview them, depending on what the person look like. And then we came down to three persons, which we decided to interview. And we interviewed
Question.
those three.
Question. Did you guys recommend one out of the three being Donaldson to the Jamaica Football Federation?
So
Or did you guys recommend the three and they chose one?
we don't operate like that. We would have told the JFF in which order we think, but the three were good enough. All three candidates was good and
Interesting.
strong. I would say JFF, this is the order that we
So,
saw.
so you guys said this is the person that we recommend as the best candidate, then the second best, then the third best.
Yes.
Interesting. What made Donaldson the top recommendation?
You notice I never said that. You said
No,
that.
wait, you're telling me that it is all right, so I get what you're saying now. It is entirely possible for the JFF to select the second or the third best
Because
recommendation.
the three persons that we interviewed, they were outstanding. All three of them could have done the job. All three.
Do you want to say who was the first, second, and third recommendation? Is that
No,
something you can disclose?
no, I can, but I'm not. And also, the third person who nobody ever know his name, he asked us not to tell what his name is.
Okay, cool.
Because
Cool.
some people have contracts, negotiations still ongoing.
Yeah, that's understandable. Um, in your humble opinion, I know this is not your role, right? But as somebody who is a part of the JFF, in your humble opinion, obviously, as somebody who is a part of the JFF, you have access to information, and I'm sure you know. In your humble opinion, like what was the what took Lauren Donaldson over the line from a JFF standpoint?
Well, what they said, I mean, the JFF was clear in their communication. He know in is in well, he knows the Jamaican athlete probably a little bit better. Time was of essence because the qualifiers just around the corner. And as I said before, he actually did the job before with Menzies. So those were the three things that the JFF cited why they would have chosen. Remember, it wouldn't be our committee would have chosen. We would have just put up the information and said these are the three
Yeah,
best.
man, that's clear. That's clear.
Yeah.
That's clear. Mr. Speed, who have to make that absolutely clear.
Yeah. So
About
the
three times
executive committee,
I heard
yes,
in
I have
about
to
a
say it.
5 minutes.
No, why I have to say it is because you see, you know what an opinion is. Somebody who have knowledge and an ignoramus, and the opinion falls somewhere in between. So a lot of people accuse me of stuff, and it's just not me. I just recommend. I don't have a vote on the board. So if the board say no, it's no. If the board say yes, it's yes. So that's
People
them
think
honest.
they're influential body now, Mr. Speed.
I am,
People
yes,
think
I am. But you know why? Because I'm right 98% of the time. But I am.
so that now means they have whole heap of power in a JFF then, man.
No, them not go with me all the time. But I
All
still
right.
prove somebody right. But them not go with me all the time.
All right, cool. Mr. Speed want drive it to me, no people. Mr. Speed never picked the coach. See? All right. So
I've
we'll
never
make
picked a
that
coach.
absolutely clear.
I've
Never
never
picked
picked a
a
coach.
coach. All right.
Or
You're
any
doing
player. Or any player for that matter.
yeah, man, we're gonna get to that, man. No, you're gonna have your opportunity for rubbish those allegations as well. See? You had done an interview with Sportsmax and you didn't speak highly of the girls' professionalism, which I mean, I know Vin Blaine did an interview with Crystal TV, good friend over there, Crystal at Talawa TV, and he that was the first platform that spoke that I heard of where Vin Blaine spoke about some unprofessionalism by the ladies. That seemed like a shocker to us because on the face of it looking in, the young ladies seemed to be very professional, and carry themselves in a manner befitting. Seeing, was it many people criticized your decision to sort of reprimand the girls on national television, right? Is that a fair statement? Why did you do that?
So there's so much people as a reprimand me on national television, blogger, everywhere. Some of these people crazy. If you're a public figure and you put up yourself, you'll get criticism. It's like not care what you're doing in football, you'll get criticism at some time. Even if you're the best player. Look how they criticize Messi and Ronaldo and those people are
Mr. Speed, you ball about the criticism doing.
oh
You ball about it,
no, no, no,
Mr. Speed.
no. I am gonna say they're unfair criticism. But if somebody was trying to
Fair.
criticize me in a responsible matter, when a person call me names, them can only call me that on a blogger. If them in front of my face, them can't do it, me sure. So I'm just saying that you call me certain names and all the evidence and all that. No, that makes sense. But in the case where we're speaking to, there was one person who actually um well, you listen to it. There was some unprofessional behavior, and the way how the thing was done to ask the coach to resign, it could have been better. So from that point of view,
Agreed.
I'm just saying, what I'm saying is not new. Other people know it. I
It
wasn't
was
impressed with how it played out. That's all.
was it a statement directed at the girls to kind of get them to shape up, or was it a statement that was just made to try and give some context to the scenario?
No, I was going. No, what happened? When we debrief, as I said before, we have information that other people don't have. So when we debrief the coach, certain things came to light which I didn't know before, right? Because we didn't just start to talk, we had a meeting with him, we sit down with him for about 2 hours, and we go through everything from day one right up until the letter came, right? So we debrief him, and in some of the instances, he said he could have dealt with the indiscipline, but he decided not to in the interest of Jamaica. So um, I don't know. I am just outspoken. I will just say what it is if you ask me most of the time. So I didn't have a people were just reading me wrong. I didn't have a motive really. I'm just making Jamaica public know what was happening in the background, which they probably don't know, which is what I've always tried to do. And speak the truth all the time. So, I mean, like it some of the time, but that's what I always try to do. So I was just speaking out because remember there was other person who was interfering, which I spoke out about that.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't take too kindly to your comments about the girls, in case they didn't notice. But I understand why you did.
No, it's
Question.
fine. It's fine for them not to, because I
Mm,
understand Jamaicans more than I mean I'm a Jamaican. I understand them. If they don't like you, even if somebody kill you, them still about the person who kill you. So I understand all of that. I understand. Trust me, I do.
question. Has the JFF taken any measures to try and implement some discipline, or to, let me not phrase the question that way. Has the JFF taken measures to sort out the unprofessional accusations that would have arose in that whole controversy? Has there been measures put in place to sort out that?
You see, the coach have tremendous power. The coach have tremendous power. So a lot of time we don't do anything unless something is reported to us. So a lot of times players would have done things and it wouldn't be reported to us by the manager or the coach for whatever reason. Or sometime if we see something and we say, Coach, what happened there? So and him say, may we deal with it. We allow the coach to deal with it because at the end of the day, they are playing for him or her. And we just have to make sure so the coach look like him in charge all the time. So we try our best not to interfere with disciplinary matters or unprofessional behavior. We kind of leave it to the coach to deal with it. Sometimes they don't, but
Yeah, and that's understood. By the way, before we continue, Mr. Speed, just letting you know, I should have told you this at the top of the interview. Totally forgot. If for any reason, not saying it will happen, but if for any reason you see me come off the screen, don't worry. I'll soon be back on because I have contingencies in place. Anything can happen.
no
Light
problem.
can go, all of that, internet down, all of that stuff. So
So I
just
just
letting you
continue
know.
talking till they come back.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We have contingencies in place for interviews in case anything
All
go wrong. All right. Up next, what I want to ask you is, right? You said you were provided with evidence in the Sportsmax interview that I'm referring to. You said you were provided with evidence of said unprofessionalism. Because I don't think this was spoken about in terms of, I don't think it was ever addressed in an interview setting properly. You said you had evidence. What evidence did this, what form of evidence did it take? Am I,
I think you're wrong. I didn't. I said some of the points in the letter, I had evidence that they were not true, not the unprofessionalism. So, like, yes,
so
there was a
you
not the
didn't have the
unprofessionalism.
evidence of the unprofessionalism?
No, not the unprofessionalism. Listen to what I said. In the letter, there was 13 points. I was speaking to the 13 points specifically. There was 4 points that the coach was able to provide evidence that they were not true, like schedule, like set play. You don't remember the other two, I'm not fresh. But so there was some points that he was able to provide evidence, letters that is communication that he sent out. So what, and then I was saying that there was 4 or 5 other points, which was opinions. But the coach say, well, you can say me not good, but I win 4 match. So right away, you have to start wondering about something that is an opinion and the results. Because remember, if somebody say, me not good, but me scored 12 goal, it's our opinion. You see my point? So that was one of the dilemma we had. Why we did find that there was everything wasn't hunky dory and correct, but because there was so many things, was one was indecisive, some were indecisive, and some were saying, yeah, the coach show with documents when sent out to cover set plays and some other things. That was why we didn't find enough evidence for this mishap. We couldn't recommend dismissal with what we have, and that is what we told the board. Now that don't mean the board couldn't dismiss him still, and could have still dismiss him if they want, but we have to report what we find, and that's what we did.
Lauren Donaldson, short-term contract or long-term contract?
That is not, that is not us, but I wouldn't think the Londoners could carry the team to work upon with cutting contract. So, but it's not us, that is administration. A lot of people mix up technical and administration.
No, Mr. Speed. We're not mixing up anything in a Mr. Speed. But
that's
come
not
on.
my question.
Yeah, no.
That's not my question.
I think it's very important for me when asking the question to always state that we know that this is not your area of expertise, but we know you know, Mr. Speed. We know you know. So you don't know if it's a short term or long term.
Here me I'll tell you, Lana signed the contract yet, them still negotiating. That's all me can tell.
All right. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. That's a Sir
Jonathan Morgan.
do some PR training.
Jonathan Morgan is top draw, quality, modern coach. Hope someday we can work with him.
All right, cool. This is a very important question that I want to ask you, right? And it's a question that came up during the whole debacle with the Reggae Girls. Seeing what is the exact role of Cedella Marley in the women's program? I know it's not your area of expertise, but me know you know.
Right. So I tried to find a documentation of what it is, and I couldn't find it. To be honest, I couldn't find it. So I don't know if there's any, but my understanding is that she's the ambassador for the Reggae Girls team. And if you are ambassador, you kind of touch everything except things that you don't know about. So I'd have thought that technical is something that she don't know enough about to be able to touch technical, but marketing, promotion, sponsorship, I would assume say she would be able to do a good job of those. Administration definitely no. Technical definitely no. But she has a broad role. But I wasn't able to put my hands on the piece of paper that says exactly what it is.
Hold on there, Mr. Speed. Hold on. That is a major issue in Mr. Speed. So you are telling me that there is nothing written in stone?
No, I'm not saying that.
You're saying you couldn't find it.
I asked, I didn't get it, so I don't know. Right. But remember, this the inception of her was with Captain Horace Burrell. So
True.
I couldn't put my hand on it. That is something that I can't definitively speak to. But I know that technical administration would not be in there. So like to negotiate the coach's salary and those things, or to decide who the coach would be, those probably wouldn't be there. And the reason why those can't be there is because remember the JFF construct of these committees, and there are not other committee like technical who has a clear line in the constitution as to what they can do. So you couldn't give that to anybody. It would be illegal. And that is why I'm saying that. And then the CEO he has a clear demarcation of what his duties are. So nobody could take that either. So that is why I'm saying I am sure that technical and administration is not there. But marketing is a other committee. You understand what I'm trying to go with this thing? But
yeah, man, that's what you're saying. I understand perfectly. There have been rumors seen on the streets. The streets have said that Cedella Marley in the past has been involved in coach selection. Is there any truth to that? Is that false?
I can tell you that since I am a chairman of a technical committee, that is not true. You can't give me no post and take it back. We can tell you that. Not true.
And you can't speak to what happened before you.
No. I don't. and as I said with Lon, in this case, he's one of the persons that we interview and we do a thing. So I could never say that was true, even if it is.
And nothing through the grapevine.
I've never spoken to her. Never. As a matter of fact, she could pass me on the road and I don't know who she is.
No, man, you must know who she is if you see her.
No, it's not true. No, I don't. I would.
Everybody knows what Cedella Marley looks like.
No, I don't, actually. I would probably pass her and don't know who she is. So she has never spoken to me, so it's not true.
It's very interesting because I mean Cedella Marley is obviously a huge part of the whole Reggae Girls program, right? But it seems to be up in the air, so to speak, as to from the outside looking in, as to what exactly, what is the I don't see any, like, there's no clear lines of demarcation as to what is our exact role and exact function within the Reggae Girl setup.
If I ever find any documentation on it, I'll go back and explain it to you.
All right, cool.
But I can tell you what she not. But I can't tell you what she
is. How on a scale of 1 to 10, how influential is Cedella Marley in the Reggae Girls setup?
Very, but I wouldn't know. I wouldn't give a guess, but she's very influential. Yes, she is. Very. I would use the word very.
Very. Would you say that the recent uproar that would have taken place, would you say that in any way, shape, or form she is connected to or linked to this recent uproar?
I'm going to pass.
So you're not going to answer it?
No. Any
particular reason why you don't want to answer it?
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of views, but I'm privy to confidential information too, so I wouldn't want to comment on this.
Fair. All right, that's a fair.
I don't want nobody sue you neither.
I don't think anybody could sue me for that.
No, I don't. Hey, look here, I worked for media for over 30 years. Them have 5 years and 1 day for sue you. So they don't must sue you now. They can't wait. They must get spiteful.
You hear that, vloggers? You hear that, vloggers? No, because the lawsuit. No, because JFF not sue immediately.
Exactly.
5
years and 1 day. I just wait till me get. I can't wait till me stop being the chairman. I just go look by all your blogs them and just sue you. 5 years and 1 day. Yeah.
Vloggers when they start checking the library, vloggers when they start checking the library. Because Mr. Speid sound like something in the back of your mind. That sound like something
I
Mr.
don't know the
Speed, man, I
funny
like
thing.
that talk there, now,
I
Mr.
used to
Speed.
work at Gleaner, you see. And let me tell you what usually happen. So I work at Gleaner for that amount of time. Everybody know me used to run Gleaner. I used to be the FC at Gleaner for years, right? For all of the group of companies. And we would carry a story, and the next newspaper would carry the same story. And them don't sue the next newspaper, and them go sue we alone. They say we have money. That
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
funniest thing.
yeah, yeah. All right. Last question, read the Reggae Girls. I know there were preparation plans in place, or that Vin Blaine was working on certain preparation plans to properly prepare the Reggae Girls for the upcoming group of death, because that's really what it is. It's a ridiculously tough group. My belly button drop out. Me I watch the CONCACAF thing, I want me see the group, me say, Jesus God. Are those plans still in place? What is taking place with those plans to
Yeah, man,
prepare
there's a
properly?
plan to have a camp before. Because we're conscious of the fact that some girls stop playing already. Um, with the warrior we have, we don't know what kind of shape them in unless it is supervised. So, for instance, though they're not together, you know, they could still, if they have a program, they could still work out. I don't know if that is in place. Let me just say I don't know, but yeah, we're concerned about that. So there's a camp that is being planned for them to come back in before the World Cup qualifiers start. But as I said before, it's not the best situation because of what happened, the timing, everything, of what transpired. But at the end of the day, I believe in the Reggae Girls. I believe that they can still qualify. I believe, you know, like I believe that when I look at the game with the Reggae Girls and the USA, when they gave us 4-0 that last game, I believe three of the goals could have been avoided if we did transition to defense quick enough. So
Agreed.
we're not
Agreed.
that far, what we need to do is to believe in ourselves, and that's what the girl needs to do now. Believe in themselves. I really believe say them can qualify. I believe that they can defeat Mexico. I
I
defeat
agree.
them, can get the better of 80. So I'm rooting for them.
I agree. I said one last question, but this is going to be my last question where the Reggae Girls is concerned. You think that, by the way, Eddie, why me get a wife for that? I don't understand. Oh, my why up myself there, so Eddie. Let me know in the comment section. Anyways, last question, read the Reggae Girls. In your humble opinion, do you think that the girls overreacted given the context of group of death a matter of weeks from now?
As I said before, we you see, I am a person who thinks different. I am a problem solver. So say for instance, so I would have approached it a little bit different, but everybody is not me. So suppose that's one of my strengths, to solve problem, and I love problems to solve. That's really one of my strengths. So I would have said, so say there was this issue. You probably could we could have had the same coach to the coaching staff. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't like nothing hard. We could have had the same coach with coaching staff, and get what we want without the people. That's all I was saying. There's a lot of ways we could have did.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, my daughter is a liar, but no
Hey,
worry.
Mr. Speed, you age yourself bad in another interview then, because when me think say Mr. Speed kids would have been some like a 5, 6 year old in man. When they say you have liar daughter in a bridge. Me say what?
Yeah, my
Couldn't be
daughter
a age
is a liar.
yourself bad in another interview the boss. All right. So I know the main issues that people want to discuss. Obviously the Reggae Boys is obviously the most popular local footballing program on the island right now. The first thing I want to ask you, and you and I had a little talk about this off here. See the Uruguay and the Basque Country games. We know the reason why the Uruguay game was cancelled, but Basque Country, I personally haven't heard the reason. Why was that friendly cancelled?
Look, the Basque Country, remember the first this Catalonia game was like 2 years ago. It was planned, and it never got through for
Yeah.
whatever reason. So the other game was really when we decided to go Catalonia, it was supposed to be an added game, right? So what would happen is that we are able to make two money with the same some same admin cost. You know what they call a sunk cost? We're going to Spain already. So if we were able to do another game, then the transportation cost would have been sunk, so it would be more profits from
Two birds, one stone.
right. But it never ever did secure from me at the first place, and it just fall through. Maybe negotiation.
So
You see, one of the problem where people don't understand, it could be money, it could be logistics, it could be that there could be a host of reason. And when people have them own business, sometimes they just don't want to tell you the reason. But it wasn't any not nanky panky or your theory. That match just never played because of host of reasons. There was no agreement.
so wait, Mr. Speed. If it never really, if that particular friendly never really signed, sealed, and delivered, seen, why was it announced?
No, because just like the Uruguay game, there was agreement, and then one of the party decided to pull out. Now, if one of the party decided to pull out for whatever reason, it makes sense you turn up to play, because nobody will be there for you to play in front of. You won't get paid, etc. So it's just one of those things, I think. I would make
All
a big
right.
issue of it either. And maybe two, people are different. Maybe we get that trash in the people and say, something about that one player. I mean, maybe it. That's it. Not
I'll tell
really.
you this. I'll tell you this much, Mr. Speed. We
Mm,
have seen friendlies cancelled before, and
yeah.
the reasons weren't necessarily positive. So many people automatically, people, them subconscious when it comes to the JFF, Mr. Speed. They don't hold your organization in the highest regard.
Yeah.
See, one of the things though that a lot of people give. By the way, smash the like button, guys. Free and easy way to support. One of the things that people had an issue with the Uruguay game was that everybody was saying, I mean, Uruguay gave the reason. I mean, that friendly was set up, time set up, date set up, um, published on respective social media platforms, all of that stuff. That particular friendly was signed, sealed, and delivered. And a lot of people are saying the reason that Uruguay gave was that they wouldn't be able to play Jamaica's strongest team. Now, a lot of people are saying to themselves, but that was obvious from minute one. Was it a case that the federation did not put that on the table to say to the Uruguayans that, hey, by the way, we have this other competition called Nations League. We would not be able to bring or we would not be able to take rather our strongest team to Uruguay. I think that is a reasonable conclusion to arrive at. That something went wrong right there.
Yeah. So it could have been
Communication.
when we tell them to them decide to call it off. So why do you think JFF did anything wrong? As I said before, when matches are cancelled, look here, we don't even have our strongest team go down go play in a nation league.
I'm
So
glad you admit that. We'll talk about that
no,
shortly.
but I'm just saying. So we're making a big more.
No, Mr. Speed. No, Mr.
No, a lot
Speed.
of the
No, Mr.
no. But it's true. We don't have our strongest team going to the nation league.
Speed.
So and then we're playing 3 days after. So clearly we couldn't have had our strongest team going to the Uruguay game. But even if we had even if we were intent on bringing our strongest team to Uruguay, when the Uruguayans saw the team that we carried to the Nation League, which is not our strongest team, maybe they wanted to see Michael Antonio and Demari Gray and all of those players. Them say, boy, make we call it off. But I want to just say something here for all the persons. The reason that you hear may not be the reason. It's just the reason that the two countries decide to give. I just want to say that.
But Mr. Speed, no. If that is the case, then the JFF still have to get beaten, and I'll tell you why.
Then why not beat Uruguay too?
Yeah, no, but you cannot agree to publish a reason that
But
make the JFF
no, but that
look
is
bad.
one. But that is one of the reasons I just published that one. I mean, that's it. Up now. Look here. You know what the
But what
funny
me I
thing
say,
about?
but I don't know if you understand what I say, though,
No, me
Mr.
hear you
Speed.
say, but the funniest thing about Jamaicans all over the world, there could be a myriad of reasons why something is cancelled, and the people then tell you one and done with you. So make we beat Uruguay too. So every time you want to go for flag JFF, just flag Uruguay too, because I don't think
No,
the
Mr.
Uruguay people
Speed,
care about him
no.
flagging.
Mr. Speed, no, you can't get out of that one,
No,
Mr.
no, no,
Speed.
no. But it is true that we're not carrying our strongest team.
No, and I agree with that, Mr.
Yeah.
Speed. But what I'm saying is, though, Mr. Speed, clearly, a lot was allowed to happen. The whole friendly was allowed to be set up, everything put together, everything published, etc. Clearly, everything happened after or before, rather, everything happened before it was put on the table to Uruguay that we would not be able to carry our strongest team to Uruguay.
Yes, but we wanted to carry our strongest team to the Nation League and we don't have it. Because the people then pull out, the players then pull out. So how are we going to carry the strongest team to Uruguay if the player we expected certain players to turn up for the Nation League and then them pull out. So what that does is that we would have had more persons to send to the Uruguay game with little more quality. When the Nation League people them pull out, who expect to come? Say you do the math. Say
I see what you're saying. I see what you're
seven
saying.
players
You're
pull out. We have to
explaining
drag
yourself
back
good now.
them. They now come on Nation League. So that team will get even worse. So that's what
Okay. Okay.
So we
Now
have to be honest with them.
Yeah, all right. I get what you're saying now. So in other words, it was originally planned that the strongest team would go to the Nations League, and so there would be a quote-unquote stronger team that would have been able to go to Uruguay.
Correct.
But those players that had been planned to go to Uruguay, they now had to be brought into the mix for the Nations League. No, all right. Then, Mr. Speed. Then not simple much, Mr. Speed.
No, but I thought you get that. I thought you get that, Sorry if I didn't explain properly.
Me never get that. All right. Now I understand 100% clearly what the issue is. All right. Perfect segue. You said we didn't bring our strongest team to the Nations League, right? Now let me say clearly, Mr. Rudolph Speid is not responsible for picking the team, because I know Mr. Speid. Him said earlier in the comment section. I know him want to make that absolutely clear before we go into this particular section. So I want to ask you this too. Paul Hall is 100% responsible for selecting this team.
100, 200, any figure you want to use over 100. Yes.
No outside influence.
No. And whenever I'm at any meeting, and any person try to influence from top of time, the picking the team, me tell them, say they're out of line.
So people try to influence it?
You have people, man.
Hold on, Mr. Speed.
No. They would make comments like them not agree with something. They tell them to shut up their mouth or the coach inside. You know why? Me's a coach. Nobody can tell me.
So you kind of understand the situation.
And there's different reasons why a coach don't pick players, Some people can't see it, like them parents and their friends and their family. So there was one particular blogger, him just want one person, and it's one person's surname, and I'll call him name. I just that surname they must play for Jamaica, whether under 15, under 17, under 20. He just come, yes, where name? Same name.
Mr. Speed, we all need to get along, Mr. Speed. We all need to get along.
No, but when you get that, but a good thing, me not speed to play football, Me just
so they would have beat you if you never find himself in a national team. Exactly. But how you would hear the night, Mr. Speed? I think a riot would have gone in a Jamaica, and they would have come up at St. Lucia Avenue and demand Mr. Speed.
But we're not very good at picking our friends and relatives and people relate to us. That's the point I was trying to make. And I think the coach must be always allowed to pick the team that they want all the time.
By the way, you did a very impressive job at fixing up that particular thought. When they say when people try to influence things, I have to commend you upon that. And I know if you get media trading, but you fix up that thought they quick and fast. They drop that argument they quick and fast. All right. One of the major things that it's been a raging debate. Seeing a number of players were not in the team that many people expected to see, right? So we're gonna start with a couple of names. Mikel Antonio. Why was he not in the team?
I don't know the reason because I don't deal with operational. I don't know the exact reason. All I know is not in the squad when I saw it. But I didn't get in. I've not asked the coach. I've not spoken to the coach about why. What we do is after every tour we are sit down have a chat from the technical committee. So we don't
Yeah.
want to chat to them yet. So I don't know. I don't know the personal reason. I just don't know.
Mr. Speed, you can't tell me say you don't know why Mikel Antonio. Was he
Never,
selected?
I've never asked.
Was he selected?
All the players were asked to turn up. Yes, all the players.
Hmm.
And they would have declined politely. Some of them.
They are. So you don't did Antonio decline?
All who is not here declined. Yes, not him
Bobby
alone.
Reed declined.
I don't know if Bobby Reed was asked. My understanding that they asked players and some of them declined politely. Some of the players that they asked declined. All right.
Daniel
But
Johnson, was he asked?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the list. I just know that reason that they declined for different reasons. Some people, the reason that I hear not person by person,
Mm-hmm.
but overall was like some of them said they're tired coming from a long season. I know somebody getting married. My understanding is that some of them even in Jamaica, That's my understanding. Some of the
Yeah,
players.
man. Yeah, man. Some of them are. Some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them.
But
I
I
know
know individually.
the rumor with Andre Gray is that he's getting married.
I hear that type of
Yeah,
thing.
and it not does appear he is in Jamaica. That's facts.
Mm.
I don't know if he's still here, but I know up until a couple of days ago he was here.
But
So
I don't know I couldn't tell you say this is what is beside this player name. I just heard general reasons, and I never tried to find out really.
so you don't know the reasons for Alvas Powell,
No,
O'Neill Fisher,
no,
Roof.
no.
Has Lawrence
I don't know individual reasons.
has Lawrence retired from international football?
I don't think so. I've never seen anything officially that is.
Hmm. Okay. Um. I think many Reggae Boys fans would like an update as it pertains to documentation of certain players, right?
But me can't help you. I'm gonna do operation.
Mr. Speed, all right. Let us state this categorically. Mr. Speed does not have anything to do with the documentation
Operation.
of players,
No,
right?
right. As a
But
matter of
Mr.
fact, you
Speed,
want to hear my personal view?
you're top man in the JFF.
No, but you want to hear my personal view on
Mm,
me think about documentation. I'm getting in trouble for this.
mm,
If you really want anything, you get it done. If you want to play for Jamaica, if you get a passport, if you're legit, this is like a two-step. It's simple. It's not hard about it. You might have to wait now because of COVID a little. But if you really, really want a passport in Jamaica, one of the easiest things. I know people would just go get passport, then born in USA, and then go get them passport. It was no issue. It's not an issue if you're legit. So I was saying if you want to play for Jamaica, you really should have take the time out and get it done. And don't make it be an issue like it's a JFF issue. It's not a JFF issue. You love Jamaica and you want dual passport, you're going to get a passport.
I know some of them do have some serious issues doing it because I know, for instance, oh God, when my boy did the Lazio right back name again, man. Javan Anderson. I know that he had some logistical problems, with his particular documents. He has been really trying, from what I understand, to get his documents for quite some time, and he hasn't gotten it as yet.
But what is the problem? Because I mean,
I
when
don't remember. That's the thing.
no, but my thing is, I mean, look here, I get passport and very people fit players, right? That are cover their players, right? So some of the time, it's a little trip you have to take over Spanish Town, and get a JP to sign a form and if you say then they know the person. You don't like it onerous to that. It's a little bit of bother, but if you're really serious, you want to do it, that's something can happen. Because if you get one teacher, sometimes a teacher will teach you a primary school can sign for you, and the
Yeah.
teacher mother, or your father, there's a process, but it's not onerous. So I'm saying, if
So
you're
sometimes people have problems finding that teacher.
true.
That's just an example.
But sometimes it could be a JP from the era or some
Mhm.
elder. I mean, I understand, because I've done it for players. It's a little bit of problem, but if you really want to do it, you can do it. Don't leave
Sir
it to the
Speed,
JF.
Sorry to seem like I'm rushing it, but we do have a lot of time left because we did agree on a set time. Does the JFF have a mechanism in place to help facilitate these players? It seems like it's all left up to the players. I don't think that's how other
No,
federations
it's not.
overseas
No,
do.
no. We just want you to start the process. Start the process.
So you guys help come
Yeah.
along the way to
Whole heap
help
of
them
player,
to
JFF help get passport.
all
Visa.
players are holy.
No, me say them help a lot of players. Me not gonna say all players. They have helped a lot of players to get them birth paper, passport, visa. A lot of players.
Is there a mechanism in place though, like a
Manager,
particular
the manager
who
of
deals with it?
the manager of the individual teams, that's the person.
Okay. I think that's the first time I've ever heard an answer to that question. So the manager of the respective teams,
would
that's
help.
the task assigned
If
to those individuals.
if they are going to help, that person would help them.
That's the person who.
Plus again, I'm sure you know all of you know Mr. Roy Simpson. He's the head of all the manager. He has helped numerous Juicy Bell, countless. We can't even count them. People get them passport and them visa if you go with them.
Sir Speed, you must have an idea. You must know what is taking place with Amari Hutchinson.
No.
You have no clue.
No.
Mr. Speed, if you don't want to say it publicly, but now no issues with that.
No,
Just
I
tell
don't
me
have
so you
any
don't want to
clue
talk it
because
publicly.
no, I don't have any clue because one of the misconception that people believe that the technical committee is to deal with just national teams. Is my thing is technical and development.
The whole
Work for
football structure
development.
in Jamaica.
Yes. Me do have no time to go follow back at people for passport and who can't find them mother and them grandmother.
Mr. Speed,
So now we but I know my thing.
Mr. Speed, we know that in a Mr. Speed. We
I know my
know that your area of not only expertise, but it doesn't fall within your jurisdiction,
No, I
right?
mean and his admin
But
that.
Sir Speed, you must me no know God the bar with one of your JFF
So
brethren
let me
them
tell
man
you.
and
So let me tell you. No, I'm not drink. I'm not gonna bar. Let me tell you
just
something.
an example.
If let me tell you something. You see, if a coach look for me and say, "I want that player, this for that player, I will move every mountain and everything to get the player ready for represent." But if a coach now look for me and tell me that, no interfere none at all. The coach have to tell me, say, you see that player, I want in documents them. And then me we use all our resources me have, including personal resource, to make sure say coach tell me say I want me help. But if him don't do that, I'm not moving.
I was a little bit disappointed that the likes of Latibodir, especially Cousins, and especially Omari Hutchinson, especially Hutchinson, is the boy is a wonder kid and he needs to be capped. I don't know how you feel about that. He needs to be capped as quickly as possible.
I'm working on it, my understanding.
So you have you're not hearing nothing about where the documentation.
No, I don't know where it is. I don't. I didn't ask. I mean, the only question I asked somebody, but where are some of those players that play in the Catalonia game and then tell me they're not paperwork. But that's as much as I know. I didn't ask them.
And you don't know if they were working on the paperwork.
No, but that is when this squad come out, I asked the question from admin, not even the coaches. Say, what happened to those players? And I say, say some of them not a paperwork. That's all I know.
Quickly before we move on, I find it very hard to believe that Barnes would have showed up for the Catalonia game and not the Nations League games. Goalkeeper Dylan Barnes.
I don't know what.
All right, you don't know. Do you have one last question where players are concerned? This is a player that is asked about a lot, right? He showed up into the national team, a lot of expectation, and he just seemed to have vanished from out of just tenure. Do you happen to have any idea as to what is taking place with a player by the name of Casey Palmer?
No.
It take a long time to answer that question.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember what happened. with him why he did even drop out of the team in the first place, because I think he made some good performance when he played. But I can't.
Mhm. All right, cool. We're moving on now to something that you might have a little bit more knowledge on, and seem probably a bit more excited or a bit more happy to talk about. Lack of victories on the
So
part
but
of.
before you go there, so and let me just tell you, say, bloggers wanna achieve something,
Mhm.
because I don't even go to a national team training, because you guys the last time I was JFF asked to use my field and I was there. People say me coaching the team. So you wanna achieve something, because I don't even go to national team training. So that's why I can't tell you certain stories, because I probably if I went, I would have asked the coach, and the coach probably would have tell me when he's there.
Mr.
So
Speed, to be fair
you
though, I
guys,
never bloggers levied an accusation against you doing a Mr. Speed. I never took me have to
that's true. That's true.
defend
But some of them
my
eat it up. Some of them eat it up. Say I true. So you're right. You're right. All right. Go and go to the next question.
Yeah, man, because we don't have not much time yet left in a whole heap
Yeah.
of questions. By the way, one quick question on player. One last question where players is concerned. The goalkeeper Chambers from Waterhouse.
Mm-hmm.
With the greatest of respect. With the greatest of respect. How from the games that I have seen with Waterhouse in the Premier League, me not see Chambers in the starting 11. How can a benching goalkeeper make the national team for a
No
Nations
man.
League tournament?
Chambers has started in games, man. It's not true that he hasn't started. He has started in
But
games.
he's not the main keeper this season though for
No,
Waterhouse.
right. Because he came back late. He came back like probably after the first run. He came back from overseas. But remember, you have to understand that age could be a factor for the third string keeper all the time. Usually, the third string keeper is not necessarily by form; it's a development goal. Remember when Ricketts was there with Wild Boy and Young and them carrying because of the potential that he had, and he was there as a third string keeper. Probably there was other keeper in the league like Robbie Scott who were probably better than him at the time, but no, not Robbie Scott, sorry. But you understand the development aspect of the third
Yeah,
string.
man, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Mm.
How old is Chambers? You know, because I don't know his age off the top of my
Probably
head.
22, young, very young.
Okay. And you don't have any starting goalkeepers in the league at that particular age group?
Well, there's JD, who is 22 too. Again, you know, they give Jaden a lot of opportunities before, so
Mm-hmm.
picking him now is probably not a bad idea. The other keeper that Waters had that kept last year, he's injured. That's the one I kept during the season, but he's like 20. He's even younger, but he's injured.
Okay. Um, Lack of victories on the part of the current gaffer. Is the JFF any at all concerned with that? The amount of games he has played so far and some of the results have been really bad. One
Well,
victory.
yeah. So we talk about that. Um, but let me just say some things, right? What we noticed was that we were used to play games, and our pass completion rate was like in the doldrum. Our
True.
our our possession was embarrassing. We probably have it sometime for 26%, 29% of the time. Um, so since Paul had the team, you can see the improvements in both those. Remember what the statistics says. If you keep the ball 58% of the time, you're likely have a win. You're most
Mm,
likely. I know people going to say, yeah, Missy man keep it 20% and then win. That's fine. But the majority of wins is when you keep the ball more than your opponent. Yeah. So if the coach is going on a plan to up those two things, pass completion rate, and that is what he's looking at, because we have done very well with those, gotten chances, just hasn't scored them.
better than the past, better than in
Right.
recent past. That's
So
true.
that is the improvement that give us some faith at this particular time that he moving in
I
the right direction. Of
and I
course,
figured.
we still conceding goals
Yeah,
too
yeah,
much,
yeah.
but then he probably can work that. He knows that that is a weakness, and he probably working on it. We talk about that.
You know, I figured that that might have been factored into the equation because, I mean, to be fair, our attacking structure, in my humble opinion, has been much better in recent times than it has been for quite some time. I mean, you see patterns of play, you see patterns of movement. It just looks more organized in attacking transition, and we are progressing the ball throughout the respective thirds, breaking lines, evading pressure. I mean, I was very impressed against Catalonia because Catalan press and a joke press for play out of, and I thought the team did much better given the personnel at their disposal. They did much better handling the Catalan press, even though they got the 6-0. But and there were some mistakes caused because of the pressure. But I thought they did much better than I thought that they would have handled the press. I thought we'd have had a problem getting out of our half in that particular game.
Right. So that is the positive that we see. Yes, we're um concerned about we still not getting the results. But even some of the drawn games, I thought we should have gotten the results. I mean, it's hard for you to defend against your own players, you know. I mean, you know, even the game I lost to Mexico, that was just a player error. It never have nothing to do with the team structure and all of that. You remember that game? They took we were leading 1-0 and we
I
get
respectfully disagree, but I see a point. But I respectfully disagree. To be fair, even when we were a man, even when it was a man apiece, we were absolutely dreadful in the first half of that game. That's the worst half I've ever seen Paul Hall coach.
no. But no, it's the second half Mexico actually take over the game. Isn't that the case? I'm like,
No
oh, year to
man,
20.
no
No,
man. We
right?
from the first half, Sir Speed, we never do nothing in the first
I
half. We
must have
struggled to
been.
get out of our
No,
half.
you're correct. It's a different game I'm talking. You're correct. You're
The
correct.
Peru game we're
Yeah,
talking, the
yeah,
Peru
yeah.
game, the
You're
friendly.
correct. You're
We
correct.
rolled some leather in the first half
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
game.
And second half we get up. Yeah.
Yeah. We run out of steam.
Mhm.
All right. Sir Speed, 1.5 hour. We're begging 15 more minutes, Sir Speed.
Do your thing, man. Do your thing.
All right. If we not get the questions off
So
in the
the
15
person who
minutes, we
put the
send you a
question
new
out
one.
there about the 100,000 and the 50,000,
Yeah.
I asked Mr. Wink about it. And yes, it's 150,000 we got. Um, but I was trying to explain before that the 100,000 you'd have gotten it whether you pass the first round or never pass the first round. You understand? So the total amount we get was 150. So I think he was trying to make a distinction between both payments, and that's why.
Cool. Con- Conrad's a formula you're being. I think he's talking about the Catalonia game.
Oh,
Conrad, to be honest, Conrad, me think with you, I I I I think there were positives to be taken from that game. We have to remember it was a backline that had never played together. It was a young backline scene, and it was JPL a backline consisting mostly of JPL players who had never experienced or have never seen anything the likes of a Della Fu and
mm,
Poog and that kind of actually I think from
well,
an I said it's Sir Speed. In 2 of the 5 moments of the game, I think in the attacking transition, we did very well. I think in attack we did okay. We could have done much better. I think a lot of the times it was rushed and that sort of thing. But defense and defensive transition, no doubt about it, we were all over the place. Dreadful.
look, the truth is the speed of the players, natural speed, and in the back line was a little suspect. And the Spaniards were known for pass and move. It was always going to be difficult. I
Yeah.
still think we got two opportunities. One of them we should have really scored still, but no game go already. You know.
We got about 3, probably 4 opportunities we could have done much better and convert if we were clinical.
I think we should have converted one, maybe. You know, football is maybe two.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah,
a
man.
little bit better.
All right. How's negotiation? We understand that he is seeking, and this is something I'm very happy to hear. He's thinking about coming on board full time. I wasn't in agreement with responsibilities across the pond. So I'm very happy to hear that thought. It has been reported that he's thinking about coming on board full time. Where is his negotiation currently?
No, Paul doesn't negotiate for himself, he has an agent.
I know.
Right. So I can't tell you that, man. That it's been negotiated still, but he's in charge.
When
He's in charge.
when could we expect to hear an announcement of it is done? Is that something that you could say right now? Is that something
No,
that can
no,
be
because admin
foreseen?
really doing it, and this, they have a few sticking points. So, um, remember now, we in the Nations Cup, so I figure it's gonna start a little, probably till after that before we have a finalization, because it don't make sense when the coach is now. He got his comfort that you're in charge for this segment of the Nations
Mhm.
League. So when it finished, they'll pick back up negotiation. Now to get in his ears is not a good time.
I agree. I agree. From a salary standpoint, is that still up in the air?
Salary,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's sticking points. Yes, salary could be one. I mean, there's a lot
Could be
of
one.
there's sticking points. I mean,
and and
I
and
mean,
you
his
couldn't
agent.
you
Remember, I
couldn't
know his agent is trying to get the best deal for him. So I
true.
understand. But Paul is committed. He want to keep the job. Him not going anywhere based on what I know. So we just have to just that there's on cross it is. There is
Could
a
you
contract already. It just hasn't been signed. There is a contract
okay.
because we not agree on all the points.
I'm sure that there are obviously certain conditions that would have to be met for him to feel comfortable coming on board full time, right? Because that's his goal, right? Am I mistaken in saying that that's his goal, coming on board full time?
I can't say I right now you have to understand that him have him club man. We can't just talk about the man that's open like. We just ask him
True,
to talk
true,
about
true.
it too open because
Me still have to
him
ask the
still
question
employed
to see
him.
when we can
I
get
know
there,
him
Mr.
still employed in club, so the question that to general.
Is 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 it possible to say what are some of the conditions that would have to be met for him to come on board fully?
What you talking about? He's here. There's no
No, but
condition.
him not on board fully. Into when I say
First,
fully, I mean
he's
full
fully
time, full
committed to the
time.
process. He's fully
But he's not
committed.
full time though, Mr.
Yeah,
Speed.
but he's fully committed to the process. But
That's not the
as I
issue at
say,
hand, Mr. Speed.
no. He's fully committed to the process. There are some things we have to get right for him to, finalize his contract. Once that is done, um, to be honest, I don't know if the contract is a big impediment to him stay. To be honest, based on what he has said and his operates.
All right. I see you don't want to disclose much about
But me
that.
can't disclose nothing about the man thing.
And that's fair. And that's fair. And that's fair. I was hoping I could get a little bit better idea of what the scenario
And I'm
is
not
currently
involved in
where
the
that is
negotiation,
concerned.
so it's really third hand information I have. I'm not involved in this negotiation. The only
Well,
thing
yeah,
happened is that when the contract finish, I would get my committee would get to look at it before them actually sign it off to see if
all
there's
right.
anything contrary to what we want.
Your third hand information is reliable information nonetheless. So we want it nonetheless. What is taking place? All right. Before we get to that, what are your thoughts on the Nations League campaign? What what? Before we even get to that, what are the objectives of the JFF in the for this Nations League?
So one of the things that we have always been able to beat some of these teams in our nation league ad hoc. One of the things that we're looking for the JFF right now is by next year Gold Cup, we're not beating these teams ad hoc. We're trying to beat them regularly. Because if we
Mm-hmm.
don't, there's no way when the World Cup qualifiers come around. Remember, we always beat this team ad hoc 1-1, 1-1 during the 4-year cycle. It's when the World Cup qualifier coming around, we notice we can't beat anybody. So,
Yeah.
so what we're trying to achieve is this consistency. So this Nation League is really a blessing for us now because we are in the group with the big boys. One of the things that we're trying to establish in this Nation League is find the gap. When a team beat you, you say there's a gap. A lot of people don't realize it and don't plan to neutralize the gap. So this Nation League will be used to find what the gap is and what we have to do to close the gap. Of course, it also qualifies us for the Gold Cup. So we need to
Mm-hmm.
qualify for the Gold Cup. So when we reach the Gold Cup, it should be a case where, yeah, the more we play these teams, is the better we're going to become because we're able to identify the gap and know what we have to do for it. to beat them when the time comes, because it is not fair to say the success of an organization depends on the World Cup qualifier, but is a good benchmark, very good benchmark. Yes, Rob Smith, they're not dead, you're defeat them.
Suriname on a joke side, Do
Yeah.
do you by any chance know what are Paul Hall's personal objectives re this Nations League?
Qualify the team for the World Cup. That's him have to.
Okay.
Remember, he will have some objective, but that's JFF objective. To qualify the
Mm.
team for the World Cup. And this is the league that qualify the team for the World Cup.
Yeah,
And nothing
yeah.
less than that is you know,
Okay, cool.
acceptable.
And so wait, hold on. So if he doesn't do that, will he still be staying on? Especially in the context of the team is not the strongest team.
Well, the Nation League don't finish this round here, so there's other games.
Well, yeah. That's true. That's
So it's
true.
not
That's
fair.
true. But me did look this up and me totally forget, is when you get is who
It's three zones, Yeah, A, B, and
mhm.
C. Out of 41 nations. So I don't remember how much in our zone, but it's not two teams.
Yeah, many if you look that up before me can I'm gonna look it up already, I'm just forget the info off the top of my head, If me did remember, me would have jot it down so I could have really address that particular issue. All right. As all the players arrived in Suriname and everything is okay.
I don't know if all, but I know majority.
Okay, and there are no issues. Everything is running smoothly. Preparation going well.
I don't know. I would hope so. I don't know.
Okay, okay. I would have liked to have heard a more assuring answer,
I'll be
but
telling the truth. I don't know.
yeah. Do you know exactly what are her selections criteria in terms of when selecting a squad?
Oh,
Do you
no.
have
Well,
any idea?
yes. At this particular point in time, he goes for the best 16 player that is available. And then the other, how much at 7 players is development.
Okay. I a lot of people notice that the squad is unbalanced, Mr. Speed. There's a ton load of forwards in this Nations League squad, and a lot of people can't really wrap their mind around why are there so many forwards and so little midfielders.
I would say, you see, it depends. You see, in these days though, I mean, what you'd call somebody like Paris forward.
Yeah, man. Paris is a you could either call him a winger, a wing forward, or a forward. He's not a midfielder though.
Right. So suppose they decide to use depending on the system they decide to use.
Makeshifts.
Not really makeshift, but you could have persons who you think are forward are just a little bit withdrawn. I don't know, right? So I haven't tried to second guess him because I'm sure Paul knows
What
what
he's
is
doing.
the squad. Yeah, so I haven't tried.
Okay, cool. Sorry if I seem like I'm rushing, just trying to get some questions in before the 45-minute mark. So we spoke about no, we need to touch on that. We need to all right, so there's a couple more questions and then we send you on your way. You have indicated previously, Mr. Speed, that your committee, along with, and you're obviously head of the technical committee, that you are responsible for selecting the player pool, not the final squad, the player pool. Is that still the case today, or has that particular role have you been relieved of that particular function?
No, you're mixing up the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Two, when the coach picked the players, my job was to get them to sign the contract so nobody no strike.
Mr. Speed, you never saw you put
No,
that you never
but
explain
that's why
yourself
me I say
properly,
it so
Mr.
no.
Speed.
That's why I say it now patwa now, so everybody
so,
can understand.
so we can understand the standard English,
No,
Mr. Speed.
no. So when the coach pick up, remember, you notice this is the only World Cup qualifier. Are you notice since I come? you don't have no strike for money after they did it the first time, because everybody now sign a contract until December 23 what they will play for when they come to the national team. Alright, you're not playing. So I was putting, remember, if they strike, it affects technical performance. So as a matter of fact,
True.
you know what I believe? Everything is technical and everybody is support. So I was put in charge of ensuring that all the players sign in contracts. So when we go on tour, nobody no strike. Because we have a signed contract, say them out play for this and this and this. So with the contract says about World Cup, friendly. If you rank over 50, what you get, rank under 50, what you get. And that is what I was put in charge of, and I successfully
Because Mr.
made sure everybody signed in contracts so then keep down a basis for strike.
Because a whole heap of people, Sir Speed, that say, the rhetoric started to change after a certain while, because a lot of people, our impression of one of your respective functions was to select the pool of which the coach had to choose from.
No.
So
So
you
even the
are now
reggae girl,
explaining that not go so. It's just
no.
to whoever whoever selects the pool is just for you to get those respective players on contract.
Yes. And what did happen? Everybody remember what did happen. When I tried to get it done, there was this big fight because the person them want 7,000 and me say no, 2,000. So it's not it is technical, but it wasn't a technical issue. It's because the JFF know that I have skills in a negotiating, which I used to do at my other job when I actually get paid for, and we use it to help the federation to make sure that we don't have the strikes again like what we used to have before, where every time you go on tour, somebody used to strike. So that is what I did. So people know, as I say, you know what our opinion is, right? That set of opinion was close to the Igna Ramos.
Sir Speed, before we get out of here, to be fair, I don't think you explained it clearly to people. Because look, I am not saying I'm the brightest bulb shining in the auditorium, but I think me have like a sense. And how me did interpret what you said was how I had put the question.
I did say it different because I did say it different. Correct. I did say it different, but whatever you hear, the meaning was for them not to strike again because we have their signature on a piece of paper. I even went as far as to explain that I had to negotiate with Michael and Chip it different from everybody else. And
Why?
Look here. No, they eventually get the same. They eventually got the same. No, there was no difference. But remember, you see where people don't understand how complex football is,
Yeah, things would be a little bit different with the two
of them agent. No, their thing was that suppose I did a show or a documentary, you're going to take my money because the rights, if I wear
yeah.
But they wanted to be clear on that, which is fair. Which is fair. Because they are superstars.
True.
In that sense. And a lesser player from Jamaica wouldn't be having that issue because so me had to make that clear what that is. So what happened was that I was just negotiating the rate, what would happen. And what I tried to do was increase the pool, ask the JFF to send the contract to every time they can Harry who can represent Jamaica. So anybody. So eventually we get a list, but what we did was expand it out now to everybody who want to sign it because guess what? We don't want one day the coach call him and him go say, me now play for this or no. So
understand.
We make sure the pool was wide.
Understand. Could I have two more questions?
Yeah,
that's it. Two more questions.
You don't have to keep me for 2 hours, so go on there thing.
All right, cool. Has the JFF ever considered partnering with JAMPRO, Jamaican Promotion and Investment? I think is what how you spell it out. To try and seek overseas investment into Jamaica's football, even if it's not to partner with JAMPRO, but just to set up some kind of mechanism in place to try and attract overseas investment to help to develop Jamaica's football. Has that ever occurred to you guys?
Yeah, but so I mean, all right. So let me just answer it like this. Yes, but there was an instance which I was talking to some persons one day and to help, and then they start to put conditions on it, right?
Mm.
Which is not in the best interest of what we're trying to achieve here. So a lot of persons would approach us, even when COVID was there were some people approaching us to deal with the whole COVID issue. And we thought they were going to give us the test, we didn't take us that. They were just trying to make our buck. So a lot of people would approach the JFF and would look at the proposal and want to finish. We have to just back out because of what they asked for. Because nobody nowadays is giving anything for free. They're asking for stuff which is against the interests of what we are doing. So we have to back out. Like for instance, let's say I will give you this money if we run a competition, but that person and that person and that person have to play night. The argument
Oh,
don't,
oh.
because if we have clubs,
Unreasonable conditions, because
yes,
nothing conditions is totally when
yeah,
you're talking about giving my money, obviously everybody will have strings attached.
yeah,
So, but unreasonable conditions.
right. So we have some of those. But one of the things that we're very mindful of now, the last FIFA, we find that FIFA has been very generous to most national organizations. That's really how we survived in the last couple of years. I mean, the last FIFA, when they send out their declarations, record profits, record money. World Cup coming up again, that means more record.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they really try to help the national associations with by giving them, a lot. They have a lot of programs which we have applied for. Some of them even yesterday we applied for some assistance. So they are trying to develop as much as talent identification. They have that program now, and we applied for it. So they are trying to develop the national association, and we're trying to make use of all of those. But it's difficult, I mean, so next year we expect it to be a good year for us in terms of getting help from the FIFA. But the overseas things, I know a lot of them talk and say they want help and so, but I just talk still. But would I really appreciate the help? Anything you can get, but nobody come with the whole for attachments.
Lastly, is there a plan of action on the part of the Jamaica Football Federation to address what I deem to be the the biggest issue plaguing the federation with the lack of sponsorship? Is there a plan of action to remove whatever barriers are there that is preventing the federation to really generate a lot of sponsorship for the national program? Is there a plan of action to address the lack of sponsorship? Have you guys looked at it and seen the problems and come up with solutions to solve these respective issues?
And on my forte, but never try answer. Yes. And we actually have a big sponsorship to get next year now, which just already signed and dusted. Huge. Um, so yes,
Adidas.
and we tried to. No, I can't tell you. Them ones said, but when I feel them time.
That
And
public
we
already
tried
doing
to,
this.
and we tried to. I never said it was that. That probably is another one. And we tried to employ people, marketing persons, and some of them don't stick. There was a time when we had a marketing person in place, and we got a lot of money. I was looking at the list, and it was somewhat impressive. I don't understand it. Sometimes people sponsor us, but they don't say anything. So they probably don't want you to say anything either. So you don't really see it in the media. But we do get help from time to time, man. And then with the advent of the Premier League, who is not a direct JFF sponsor, but it is football sponsor. And we have done exceptionally well with that because of how we structure the Premier League, make it independent of the JFF. So I mean, we keep on looking, and at this particular time, we actually have a vacancy for a marketing manager. So if you know nobody, tell him to apply. We want to talk to me. Anybody good? Right there, about the people are good.
All right. Sir Speed, that's about it. And of course, we have many questions we could ask you, but of course, we actually went over the allotted time
Yeah.
that we had agreed with Mr.
So
Speed. But
before you're done now, let me just
mhm.
list people them some good news where you know want to talk about. Because bloggers love to talk about bad news. So
No, Mr. Speed. No, Mr. Speed. No, me
our
can't.
All
Mr.
right.
Speed.
I take it back. I
No,
take it back.
apologize for that,
I take it back.
Mr.
I
Speed. Me
apologize
take
and
that
take it back.
personal, Mr. Speed. Me take that
so
personal.
so I apologize and take it back. So our coaching education program has gone magnificently well, right? We
Yes,
started the B
yes.
license and we did almost 200% so far. But what is more significant is the reviews. All the coaches that went through it are saying, boy, this is so refreshing. They learn so much. And we only teach them two moments, attack and defend. And because the C license will add the other three moments to it. So we only teach them two moments, but it's not just teaching them. 60% of it was on the field, physical. So they had
Mm.
to plan training session and show us what they would do if they have certain scenarios in place. So we would have an assistant coach and the coach, so they have to get that type of thing. One of the things what we're trying to look at is to make sure that all the players at that young age learn the moments, because what happened when a lot of our players go overseas, that didn't know the moments, they struggle. When the coach said we are playing a transition today to attack,
Mm-hmm.
a player might get the ball and broke. The coach never said he wasn't training in that.
Yeah,
So what
yeah,
we're trying to do is to improve the stock of coaches' knowledge from a younger age, make them know the moments from a younger age so they know what to play. And of course, the best one of the country. In addition, we have 27 B license coach now, CONCACAF B license coach on the island. So we did 8 more this year so far. And we have 6 spaces to go to Trinidad to do the A license. So what the plan is for us to do the A license in Trinidad, so we'll be able to teach the B license in Jamaica. Because at the end of the day, that's really where the growth is. We need to have like 300 B license coaches, because
Mm.
B license is for elite youths and top.
Youth, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we want like schoolboy, all the schoolboy team to have a B license in our future.
Mm.
So we're looking at even saying that Premier League coaches must have a B license, but it's a progression. And then maybe in the next couple of years we'll look at the A license. They must have an A license. So it has gone exceptionally well. When I hear the reviews, coaches telling us that, oh boy, we were just abusing the kids before because we just never know what we're doing. I mean, it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
refreshing. It's a one of our success story.
yeah.
The other success story is we now have 150 odd persons who have club license.
Mm.
Yeah, they have the bank accounts. They register the company in a
They
modern.
met the criteria for club licenses.
Yes,
A
150
hundred
clubs. Yeah,
clubs.
50 clubs now. Yeah,
What?
150. Yes.
What?
So that's a real good progression that we have
Mm.
in those 2 years.
That's very good. No, that's would beat the JFF all the time, but we
Yeah.
have to give on the props to that. That's impressive.
Yes, and what is even more impressive, contrary to what people say, if you notice in the tier 2, the team that dropped out is a JFF personnel team, right? So because rubbish the thing about we fight against one another, because now you see our next team drop out of the tier
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
and we're very fear about the club licensing right across the board. If you don't make it, you're out. You're not playing at any JFF competitions, which is something that we're striving towards. Because remember, Belgium used coaching education and jumped from 66 to first in the world. Iceland club license them use with impunity to make their football improve. Well, they kind of stagnant back now, but so you can see what that does for the sport. So, and I think those two are a success story, which we're going after elite youth football next, because we want to separate youth from their 13, the elite youths, and make them play together. So what we're doing there is to prepare them to play in the under 17 national teams from them at 13. So that is the plan, and of course continue to the under 20s. So now when we just carry them in a camp and them only exposed to national football for 3-4 months before them play, that's not gonna happen. We are trying
Whoa.
to youth pathway. So it's the next thing we're going to do. And the last thing, we're trying to start the Women's Premier League so the women will get paid to play football. So those are the ambitious program we have. What I like to talk about instead of this national team, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
No, to be honest with you, Sir Speed, I actually have the questions here, but it's just time that because when I did reach out to you, I said one of the things I wanted to talk to you about as well was coaching education,
Mm,
right? So it's just the whole time, and we don't
yeah,
already keep you long over the time.
yeah.
So I
So
just
maybe next time we can talk about it in detail. Those 4 things. Remember, coaching education, club licensing, women's football, and the elite program.
I
Very
would
clear
love
pathway.
I would really, really, really love to touch on that because me agree. the bag of arms house and the bag of Rary and the Cas. I mean, when I said the national team issues is not is that, but there are other very important things that do sometimes don't get the light or the recognition that they deserve in terms of the spotlight to focus on those particular aspects. So I would definitely love for you to come
Yeah,
back
because you see
out
the
and
thing about these other programs, when we go to the next World Cup, we now stop again because these programs build the program from the foot come right up. And that is really my main focus on him. Imagine you're paying the ladies some money to play. Don't you think they would
yeah,
have improved? You
yeah,
know? So them just
yeah.
playing for free now, nothing. So those are the things we're really driving forward. I hope we can achieve them by 2024. That is the deadline we have.
All right. So we'll chop those up, those very important issues up another time. One last question. The C license
Hmm.
is what is the timeline for the rollout of the C license for everybody? The
Right. So
next C license course.
we're trying to do 3C license um in Jamaica before the end of the year. Here the problem we're having. So we're only going to have people do the advanced level to do it, or you have to do the D license. But what we found is that this is embarrassing. We even have people coaching at the Premier League can't manage it, because what they learn when they were learning to coaching gone, on different
Yeah,
direction.
evolve way
Yeah,
past that.
big
Yeah.
different direction. So we are trying to scratch our heads now to say, do you have to go back under the D before we allow you to do the C? It's a little problem
Mm,
we're kind of having, which we have to try to sort out. But the C, we're supposed to have one in the summer and two more before the end of the year.
that's that's
And it's gonna
that's
be
good.
90 persons. So again, you see the problem because we have over 1,000 certified coaches.
Yeah.
It's only 90 we can take for the three courses.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we'll chop
Oh,
all
but
of
one
those.
good thing about the C, we have coaching educators now in Jamaica who can teach it. We get qualified through CONCACAF and we can teach it ourselves.
And that's excellent news. And me say it all the while. We beat the JFF all the while, and truth be told, a lot of the times, them deserve the beating, if
Yeah.
we're gonna be fair.
Mm.
But we as fans must not get caught into the habit of just focusing on the negative. Because to be fair to the JFF, we have seen improvements. But we can't deny that. Yes, things might sometimes not move at the pace we want it to move. We are a little bit impatient as fans, but we have to give credit where credit is due. Mr. Speed, thank you for coming on and chopping up all of these respective issues with us. And I would love to have you again to talk about all of those things, club licensing, more into the all of the questions I have here with coaching education and the women's program and all of that sort of stuff. So, Mr. Speed, thanks again. Very good interview. Disclosed a lot of information. I'm sure Reggae Boyz fans and Reggae Girls fans as well would have appreciated it. So, thanks again and take care and stay safe.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, man. All right then.
Okay, bye.
So, guys, that's it. Mr. Rudolph Speid, chairman of the technical committee of the Jamaica Football Federation. Sorry if we kind of ignore a lot of your comments. You have to get a lot into not a lot of time. So hopefully you guys would understand and hopefully you guys would have found this interview very informative. So that's it from us here at the Formula Sports channel, guys. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Hold on. Yo, way back in the comment section, me there, man. Way back in the comment section, me there. Me ask for like, sorry, Case. Sorry. Me apologize, man. Me apologize. Before we get out of here, the next D license course is in, ooh, me not have it for me now, But there are a couple of them that are scheduled, that are upcoming later on in the year. So we let um Kareem Grant. Where are you based, Kareem Grant? Before we get out of here, where are you based? If it's Kingston and St. Andrew, the next one for Kingston and St. Andrew should be round about now, I think, either June or July. I don't know. DM me, Kareem, I can answer that question. See, Kareem saying June. So yeah, man, Anonymous, thanks much. We appreciate that, man. We appreciate that. Michael, thanks much. We appreciate it. We appreciate. Shavan, we link, boss. We link. Boy, and I love the Ray, man. Jesus. All right. So guys, that's it from us here. Again, K, sorry for ignoring all the comments. Me know. Hopefully we would have had a little bit of time to go through some of the comments, but I had a lot of questions that I've wanted to ask Mr. Speid for a very long time. Question and well, a lot of them I never even get to because I never even talk about the coaching education, to be honest with you. So, but guys, again, thanks for joining us here on the Formula Sports channel. Smash the like button before you guys, exit the chat. Free and easy way to support the channel and, free and easy way to give the youth some strength. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We try our best over here to give you guys quality content. So, again, free and easy ways to support the channel. So, guys, take care, stay safe. Hopefully, you guys got a lot of information from this particular interview. And until next time.